there. Well, I figured I'd go ahead and do another video blog since the other one seemed to go very well. If you haven't seen my other one, it was Wetology 101 Eve, which is just a couple of notches down here on the OFD Illuminate blog. But I wanted to keep this up as long as people are interested in checking it out. But I wanted to actually start a theme with all of these video blogs, something I could do a little bit different than when I'm just writing the blogs. And one of the things I get asked all the time, and it's for the last 7 years, even in college to be honest as well, but in the last 7 years of working in the wedding industry, I worked in reception venues for a long time, and now as OFD in the last year and a half or so, always, how do you squeeze it all in one day? And I never thought I was that much different than anybody else, but I do have a knack for efficiency. I have literally listed Frank Gilbreth, if you know Cheaper by the Dozen, not the Steve Martin version movie, thank you very much, but the actual book. It's about a dad who, well, the family had a dozen kids, and I read it as a kid, and I think everyone walked away from it just laughing about this wonderful family. I myself, at this young age, I was probably 10 or 11 when I read it, became very obsessed with the fact that he was basically this man of efficiency. And as I got to read further, it was just very cool because he was always talking about various ways to stay efficient in his family of 12 as well as the workplace. And as I get older and researched, I actually found out that's what he did for a living. So I've always emulated that guy. And for me, honestly, I don't think I'm much different than any other wedding professional out there who owns their own small business. I'm a one-man show for the majority. I do bring in staff from time to time, but I'm the only person full-time working with OFD. And as I continue to grow my client list here, just like anybody else out there, you have to become a little more efficient with how you do things. So what I'd like to do is every time I do a video blog, from the time being at least the foreseeable future, I'd like to discuss different ways that I stay efficient and squeeze in all sorts of different activities throughout the day and still manage to stay relatively sane. So I'm going to actually start with a shout out to my girl Casey, who owns rsvphair.com. I will tell you, she has no clue I'm doing this, so by no means is this a sponsored post. I like to call it a non-sponsored overshare, and I'm going to show my affections for rsvphair.com. But for a lot of you wedding pros out there, I have no doubt you belong to various organizations, whether they're wedding specific, industry specific, or likewise. I'm sure a lot of you wedding planners out there host all sorts of events, are probably pulled into events by your families and friends that have nothing to do with what you're doing from day to day. And it's hard to stay sane with all the various things you can do. So when I started to manage the Richmond Bridal Association about a year ago, we had a very standard way of RSVPing for our monthly meetings. And it was, we would send out an email and you would reply if you're coming, and that was it. Well, I took over and I started doing that because I always feel like when you jump into something, you should probably give it a try as it was before and see how you can improve upon it. Well, before long, I was getting millions of replies, flooding my inbox, worried I was missing something, and I realized there had to be a better way. So I went ahead and just by chance ended up meeting up with Casey Bunn, who's local, lucky for me. Lovely individual, small business owner, extremely energetic. If you don't know her in the Richmond area, you should. She's fabulous. But she actually started rsvphair.com, which is, it's kind of like, it's basically a system for responses to invitations. I know that they often, as they market it, you can do an online response for a paper invite. For me, I want to do an online invite and I want to do an online response. So rsvphair.com has been a godsend for me. To be perfectly honest, what I do is I create every month some sort of, and I'm going to try and log in as we're doing it here. I go ahead and sign up for an event. I create an event, and for you guys it could be one of your association events, as long as there's not money exchanged in it, because that's a whole different beast here. What I do is I always create very simply, very user-friendly, a little event. For example, this month we are having our RBA September meeting, and it's coming up next week, and I created a nice little template for it. They give me millions, so I actually never have to do anything too difficult to put it together. It takes me probably, now that I'm used to it, honestly, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. I can often include attachments and stuff, make it fancier, but for me, I just create it as is. And then it creates a very specific link for people to go in and log in. Not even log in, I shouldn't say that. They just log in with, they either click a direct link to take them to the event, or if that for some reason doesn't work, you can go ahead and log in with the special code that I give them, and then they just RSVP simply yes or no. Now, if that's where it ended, that would pretty much make no sense why I'm doing a video blog about it today, because there are other programs out there that does that. But what I love, and this is huge, is they actually have a dashboard, which I completely dig and I'm so excited about. So I can log in at any time here, and it shows me how many people are going to be attending, how many people have declined, and it shows me a list of the folks who have said yes or no as well. So here for RBA, you can see so far I've got 22 folks coming and 1 regret. I've got people bringing guests, so it lists that as well when I go through the list. And what's even better about it is when it's time to end the RSVP deadline, I can actually download an actual spreadsheet that lists all the people and the ones who are coming. So that's amazing. So then I just print it out and I literally have a check-in list. I mean, talk about ridiculously easy, because before the old way was let me know if you're coming, and then I would have to create my own list. But what's even better about this is when you create it, you can actually ask them to fill out specific information in advance. For example, for RBA, it's pretty general stuff, but let's say I have a special speaker coming in. I can add a query so it says, go ahead and have your name, your company, your contact information, and then what questions do you have for our speaker? So it requires them to fill that out before they go ahead and even RSVP, which is just awesome, because then it's one less thing I have to worry about. When you are creating, potentially, you need to create a leads list, for example, that's another great way to do it. I had some specialty invites for Weddology 101 to a couple of our very important friends and family and a couple of our clients, and we went ahead and offered them the ability just to come to the event. So I had set up several query items so that when I downloaded the Excel spreadsheet, it was everything I needed. I didn't have to go hunting for information. I required it at the beginning. In addition to that, what I also love about these guys is several different things. One is I can go ahead and write an actual end date in for RSVPing, so I can just cut it off and I don't have to go and, like, I know on X amount of date I can go in and I'm not going to get any more RSVPs. In addition to it, it also actually lets me, and it has a lot of other functionalities, by the way, I should add. It's just, these are my favorite ones, but it also allows you to set up a reminder. So once everyone has their email addresses in, you can actually set up an email that reminds them a few days out about, you know, if there's something special they need to know, or make sure that they bring, or parking instructions. And then there's a thank you at the end of it. So you can actually create a thank you note that shoots out right after the event. So this is just fantastic. And I will tell you, I went from, oh gosh, I probably save, it may not sound a lot, I probably save easily between 2 and 4 hours a month, though, when it comes to RSVP, strictly even just for the Richmond Bridal Association. So that's a wonderful time that I get back to go to my business. So anyways, RSVPhere.com. It's fabulous. My friend Casey rocks. Again, she has no idea I'm actually singing her praises today, but she'll find out after I post this. But I do feel very strongly that it's an awesome way, once it becomes a habit of yours, if you are planning events, whether you are doing association stuff, board meetings, what have you, it's just an easy way to take it off of your hands. It is free, which is wonderful as well, so you can just go ahead and sign on up. So anyways, that is one of many tips I'm going to be sharing with you down the road as to how to stay efficient in your business so that you can have more time to market yourself. Again, some time to find some actual sanity out there when available. But those are some great things. So by all means, in the comments today, feel free to throw in anything that you want to hear about, any suggestions you may have when it comes to pertaining to doing some of this event planning. Otherwise, I will talk to you soon. Bye.